You guys are gonna like this. This is pretty cool. Wrap it around the bone, make sure it's nice and tight, and pull, and that bone becomes out completely clean.
It's a great day today. I have the pleasure of introducing to you a very dear friend of mine, Sebastian, from Sebastian Co Fine Meats in West Vancouver and in Yaletown. Today, he is going to give you all you need to know about butchering meats. Started as a chef, and now he's one of the finest butchers in Canada. So with me exiting and him introing, here you go. It's all yours, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I'm gonna teach you guys how to do something kind of special and a little different. We're gonna be working with lamb racks, and I'm gonna show you how to clean it for presentation and all of that. So let's get started. So, got a beautiful lamb rack here. I'm gonna show you when you guys buy it from the store, it will look a little bit somewhat like this, okay? But what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean the bones and French them for presentation. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. Usually lamb comes with a little fat cap, and you wanna get rid of that. There's like a little heel bone right there. This is part of the shoulder blade, so you wanna take your knife right into that spot and start separating all this fat cap out of it. You can actually just use your hands and it'll rip right off easily, and just use your knife to kind of help it a little bit. So at the shop, what we do with this is quite fatty. You know, we always use this for sausages and burgers and things like that, right? So we're gonna keep the fat cap aside, and then we're gonna start Frenching this. Now, there's a couple of key things you need to know. So this right there is the eye of the rack, right? There's like a little lip in here. You call this the lip, and then you have the rib bone. So we're gonna pull all the meat off the rib bones. So that's how you make the little lamb popsicles that are super famous. And you take the knife right onto that little lip, make a straight cut all the way through. And then with your knife, you're gonna go in each one of the bones. Now, the important part here is you wanna make sure that all the meat is detached from the bottom of the bone from the lamb rack, right? So go in around there. And there's a couple of ways of Frenching. So one of them, I'm gonna show you. We'll take some of this fat off. A lot of people get intimidating by this, but you know, once you practice a couple of times, it becomes pretty easy. You're gonna take the knife and you're gonna cut on one side of the bone, just like that. And then you go all the way around the bones, and with the back of your knife, we call this a heel, not the tip, you just start scraping the bone. So you want this on a 90-degree angle with the bone, and very important, you wanna make sure you get all of this meat right out of it, right? Because if you leave a little bit, it's gonna turn kind of dark and burnt in color. The idea is to have the bones as clean as possible. You can also use a towel to help you out a little bit and pull it like that, just clean like that. Now there's another technique that I can show you. Very important that you get the meat detached from the bottom. But if you grab a little bit of butcher twine like I have here, so you take a little bit of butcher twine, attach it to, you know, a table or something, and you can wrap this around the bone. You guys are gonna like this. This is pretty cool. Wrap it around the bone, make sure it's nice and tight, and pull, and that bone becomes out completely clean. So this is a super fast way of doing it, right? This is your properly clean lamb rack. So you can see how nice that looks, right? So another key when you're cooking anything with bones, like a lamb rack or a pork rack, always cover the bones with a little tin foil, and that's gonna help them stay a little bit lighter in color so they don't turn kind of like dark brown. This is our charcoal rub. This gives you that kind of South American asado, Argentinian, Chilean type of flavor to any meat that you put it on. And with the charcoal rub, you don't necessarily need anything else. Just a little bit of that. It's gonna turn this completely black. And also it's a great way of giving your, you know, if you're doing a steak and you wanna do that black and blue kind of style steak, this will help you out. And the flavor is outstanding. So all you have in here is a little bit of smoke flavor, a little bit of you know, Spanish seasonings like Latin American season, a little bit of cumin, oregano, and then that's all you need. You don't need any salt, it's all in here. And I use this a lot, like it's one of our most popular products in the store. And this is neat because when you do the lamb popsicles, we're gonna cook this whole, as a whole piece. There's two ways of doing lamb popsicles. You can do individual chops. When you do the chops individual, like the little lollipops, and you grill them, on every chop you get the grill marks. But if you do it as a whole piece like this, and then you cut it, you manage to cook it medium rare, you get that nice, beautiful medium rare piece of meat, right? Which a lot of people like. That goes right onto the grill, which I have already preheated. Let's go on the grill. Perfect. So we're gonna let that cook nice and slow. Now we're gonna do some very rustic little vegetable side thing seasoning so we can kind of garnish our whole baking sheet. The baking sheet that we're gonna be using, it's just something like that. You can do any kind of tray, but I love this because it's kind of rustic. It's super like family style friendly and all that. I've got a little bit of halloumi. I love this. Halloumi is one of the only cheeses that you can grill and it will slightly melt, but you can still serve it as a whole piece. Put a little bit of Thai chilies in there. Chop them up nice and fine, okay? Throw them right in there. And we're gonna put a bit of lime juice in it, and we're just gonna let that marinate while we work on everything else. So we got that in there. We'll use a little bit of this fantastic olive oil, Sebastian & Co olive oil. Look, it matches my apron. And just let that marinate. Toss it into the chilies. With halloumi, you want to make sure your grill is super hot because basically you just want to put grill marks on it. If you leave it in there for too long, it starts melting and shredding into pieces. So you got to be fast. You know, once the lamb is cooking and it's pretty much done, we're going to shift it to the side. Turn the temperature really high on the barbecue so we can get all of our veggies grilled. What I like to do with the onions, cut the little top off and the bottom. And you can cut little rings, just like that. Okay, so we're gonna grill those little onion rings as well. We got some scallions in here, green onions. We're gonna cook some of those as well. We'll use some serrano peppers. You can leave them whole or you can split them in half. And if you don't like serranos, they are definitely a little bit spicy. I like a little bit of heat, but you can also use sweet peppers. Like these little guys are pretty common as well, or banana peppers, whatever you want. We'll do some balsamic, a little bit of salt and a little bit of olive oil, and then it's gonna go right on the grill. I'm gonna cut these little peppers in half as well, throw them in there. Okay, throw everything in there. The green onions, I love this grill. These are fantastic grill. A little bit more of balsamic and we'll drizzle a bit of olive oil on all of this and a little bit of salt. There we go. It's always good to do a little bit of garlic. So I like whole garlic heads and we split those in half. And I throw that right on the grill. So you get a little bit of roasted garlic in there, which is always good. Now, we're just gonna throw this on a high barbecue. So you want to make sure your barbecue is pretty hot. And so I'm going to put the lamb to a side. I've got the two little lamb racks in there. Turn the one side off, put the racks on the one side, and then this is going to be screaming hot. So the lamb goes in high temperature first, and then really nice and slow, and I probably would cook that for about half an hour. Now you want to get an internal temperature of 130 for like a medium rare. Very important that you let the lamb rest. See, what happens is that when you remove the piece of meat from the heating element, whether it's the oven or the barbecue, and the meat starts relaxing, it actually expands a little bit like a sponge. That's why sometimes you see we tie a lot of roast really nice and tight. As soon as it comes out of the oven, cut all the strings and the meat is just gonna completely absorb all the juices back inside, right? You don't want all the juices to bleed out, right? So once the meat is like kind of settled and rested, like I said, it absorbs almost like a sponge, so you get all the juices in there. I'm gonna get the grill marks on the halloumi right there. There we go. Now we can start grilling our veggies. Find the hottest spots on the barbecue. We'll throw the scallions right in here. The garlic, head open side down, so you can get the nice grill marks on that. Onion here as well. Throw everything in there, your peppers, you know, little thing of onion there. Now we get to see a little bit of fire here. So this is always fun. We're getting some grill marks on the halloumi here. Flip them over. You can tell the doneness of any meat, like steaks, by squeezing. I mean, of course, best way is to use a thermometer. But if you don't have a thermometer, you know, you just kind of want to poke it. There's a couple of tricks that you can do. Poking here, and every finger that you move. So this would be the feeling of that. It's rare, medium, and then well done. Now we got a super cool thermopan here. 134, so I'm gonna pull this one out and let it rest. We're gonna remove the tin foil on the lamb, just like that. So see, the bones are not burnt black. Okay, let's see how this is. Okay, so yeah, we got a good color there. We're gonna let them rest a little bit longer. Pretty much done here. You got nice little grill marks on it all. Like, it's supposed to look like a little bit rustic. So let's start getting this bed of veggies here. Ready? Just throw it all in here. Garlic, roasted garlic. And we got our serrano peppers, our green onions, We got our halloumi, we got all of our veggies out of the oven. I got a couple more peppers in there. The start of the show is of course the meat, so you want to put that on top. You get that nice, beautiful flavor, perfect. We're gonna make a little dipping sauce for it. So I like making this fragrant yogurt. We'll do a chiffonade of mint right in there. Mix it all up, a little bit of rosemary as well. A pinch of curry powder, and then we're gonna put some lime juice in that. Season up with a little bit of salt. Again, I'm using the little garlic and thyme salt. You can put that right in there. Sprinkle a little bit more mint just on top as a garnish. And then this whole platter, it's always good to like a little bit of rosemary. You know, we sprinkle a couple more peppers for color. You can put a couple lemons in there. All right, so there you have it. A nice South American style barbecue platter. You bring this at the table, goes with any salad. You can make some rice with it if you want. It's just a great kind of way of passing food around. It's always like interesting to have so many components into one little tray or platter, right? If you have any questions or anything, you can always come to Sebastian Co. I'm there all the time, our new store on House Street. And we got fantastic lamb, we got great meats, we got a fantastic dry aged beef program, and all of our seasonings are available at both stores as well in West Vancouver and downtown. So definitely come and check us out.